with that, Bull.
I know Cam in Canada said he's back into us.
Back
I didn't
on.
know he was out on us.
Yeah, he was out on us for a little bit.
Cam in Canada was out on us?
He wasn't out on me. That's my boy.
I don't know.
He wasn't out on me.
That's not something to be that proud of.
I'm just saying, man.
Did he go back to Canada?
I don't know. Why was he out on us?
So I had a nice heart-to-heart with Cam. I hope I'm not going to say anything.
I think
Cam
you've been
doesn't
pissing
want,
him off, boy. That's
I've
what
been pissing him off?
Yeah, you've been pissing him off.
No,
boy.
it was you a little bit. It was a little bit of Jason, a little bit of Jay, but he just thought overall. I want to paraphrase this properly.
Are we really taking this seriously? I was joking around. You had a real conversation about this?
I had a real conversation with Cam.
Right
he said we weren't looking optimistically enough at the upcoming season for the Browns.
Oh, my God.
So, like I said.
We need to cater to every I like Cam in Canada, but he's a lunatic. Every tweet he puts, 9 out of every 10 tweets he puts out there are ludicrous. No?
He puts out some really good stuff.
I think he's like purposely trolling people.
Yes,
I think he knows.
Oh yeah,
he's
an A1 like A+ troll.
He is a good troller, and people take it seriously.
Yeah, they do.
They be jumping on.
But I'm not completely sure he doesn't believe some of the crazy stuff he puts out there.
He puts out some really smart football stuff, though, from time to
You
time.
might be a bigger
sprinkled
troll.
in with the trolls, he's got some really good takes.
I never troll.
But Bull's just responses to tweets are hilarious.
That's what they be getting.
He be like, no.
It'd be the tweets it'd be the off-kilter tweets off the show that be really getting. I'm like, who you getting in an argument with over on Twitter? Just random dudes. It'd be randoms.
Yeah. Anyway, Cam in Canada, we're glad you're back. You're back in!
Locked in, Cam.
Hopefully I don't say anything today that chases him out. We don't want him out. We want him in.
Well, I'm a little pessimistic about these DNs.
Oh, boy.
Yeah, let's get to it. As Mary Kay reported yesterday, Alex Wright, Isaiah McGuire, both were injured, one during the preseason game against the Jets, the next in Saturday's practice, and will be out for, quote, an extended period of time, according to Kevin Stefanski, both with knee injuries. The Browns signed Charles Wiley for a camp body. Are you starting to worry that the Browns' defensive end depth is dwindling before the start of the real preseason even begins?
Who gives a shit? Are you kidding me?
I do it.
Come on, these guys are nobodies. I'm gonna
bye Cam.
What's that?
We've lost Cam.
How have we lost him? I'm being positive, Cam. You should be back in. I'm saying that the Browns are fine. They don't need these two schleppdicks. What are you talking about? I'm going to get worked up. They just signed some nobody off a practice squad. Good for him. Let him play well. Do they still have their top 3 pass rushers?
Yes.
Okay. Were their 4th, 5th, and 6th pass rushers last year even NFL players? No. The great Lonnie Phelps is still around.
Lonnie Phelps. That sounds like a DH that played for the Phillies. Lonnie Phelps.
That really does.
Like, he just...
Now batting.
I don't know who.
That might be Jeff's son.
Might be. It might be.
I mean, I'm not worried about this, guys. I'm not panicking. They got their 3 best guys. That's all that matters. They'll find other guys. You're not going to use more than maybe 5 defensive ends. 6 maybe, but I think that's pushing it. The 3 top guys, they're going to play most of the snaps. I know, in a perfect situation, you like to rotate a lot, and certainly Jim Schwartz likes to do that. But I don't think those guys are really anything with anything. I think you can find other guys that are just as good.
So here's why I think it's a big deal. Is it enough of a big deal to like jump off a building? No. But is it concerning? Yes. When I play defensive end, when you get a coach change and you go from a position where you're trying to move around, we went from a 3-4 to a 4-3, and what I was up there doing was just basically taking up blocks. I wasn't trying to penetrate. I wasn't trying to make plays. Our job was to keep linebackers free. When we switched from that year to a 3-4 to a 4-3, they were asking me to do a lot more than I was, used to. When I was up there now, I had to lose about 20 pounds. I had to work on my conditioning. I had to learn to get upfield. And I had to learn to play with max effort every single play. One of the things that we get with Myles Garrett, and a lot of people have been talking about it, is Myles Garrett, hey, he slows down at the end of the year. Hey, it looks like he still doesn't have his conditioning. Hey, he doesn't look right after COVID. Why is Myles Garrett's sack totals down? Zadarius Smith has 10 sacks or almost 10 sacks, basically through the first half of the year, tailed off at the end of the year because he had injuries. So what do you think is going to happen if you don't have depth? What's going to happen? That's going to be on the table again this year. You also got to realize this. We always talk about you got to have your players stepping up when you drafted. We can't fill every position with free agents. We can't go sign everybody. Alex Wright, 3rd-round pick. You look at Isaiah Thomas, he was a draft pick of yours, I believe, in the 7th round. And when you look at across the board and the level of talent and the level of production you're getting from your draft classes is 0. Alex Wright, Isaiah Thomas, you're not getting anything. David Bell is a 3rd-round pick. Schwartz is a 3rd-round pick. Jordan Elliott is a 3rd-round pick. I just gave you 5 people, and these guys haven't given you anything. So now when you look at the production and when you go to other teams have guys that they've slotted in towards their draft picks that are going to do something. They know the system. They're banking on those guys, and it builds depth. Now we got to go to the scrap heap, find 2 more DNs, and now we're asking Myles Garrett to be Superman again if these guys aren't playing.
But I don't think so, because you got 2 guys that you brought in who are good pass rushers. You're not asking Myles Garrett to do what you asked him to do last year when there was not another good pass rusher.
Well, yes, you are, because here's what's going to happen.
Yeah.
When you bring in those secondary, this Phillips and Wiley guy, Jim Schwartz wants to run like he was running in Philly.
Yeah.
When you look at what Philly is doing at that high level, when you look at and they got Nolan Smith, they got guys up there that is top 5 picks, and they brought back their whole roster almost. That's what he wants to do. You got to have guys playing effort, fast. The skill set of these guys is not going to be able to play like that.
But some of the guys you mentioned that are not contributing are the guys that are hurt. So is it any different than it was before these injuries? And how long are these guys out for, Mike?
Extended periods of time.
Extended time, Mary Kay said up into the season potentially. So this is done for camp at least.
I just think they're guys who are fringe roster players. I'm not going to get worked up about it. Earl?
I don't know, man. They say when a soldier go down, the Army itself loses its strength, right? Alex Wright was a 3rd-round pick, a guy that Kevin Stefanski and Andrew Berry was very, very high on, a guy that they felt like had a lot of raw talent, but over a couple seasons they felt like he could be molded into a pretty solid player to come off the defensive line. You look at Isaiah Thomas, a guy who was a 7th-round pick and seems to make some noise. It seemed like every time that he was on the field last year, I can remember seeing his number or just hearing his name or seeing him always around the ball. So they might not be major contributors now, but like I said, these are depth pieces, right? They're part of the Army. And when you lose pieces,
but injuries, every team has injuries.
Every team has
part of the game.
I'm not saying every team don't have injuries, but what I'm saying is when you look at these 2 guys in particular, I think that they were looking at Alex Wright to take a major step forward in year 2. They felt like Isaiah Thomas could have been a contributing role player. I don't necessarily, if I view these particular players to be fringe guys. I think these guys that were going to be rotational guys.
Were they not at best the 4th and 5th defensive end?
They were rotational guys.
Okay, so I mean,
Alex Wright was making the team. Isaiah Thomas was definitely on the potential to be cut list. Yeah. But Alex Wright was a lot.
Alex Wright was definitely on the team.
But he was their 4th defensive end.
But that doesn't mean he wasn't going to play.
I didn't say he wasn't going to play, but guys, in the end, if you can't, if your 4th defensive end getting hurt is a big deal, your team's not good enough. Bottom line.
If your 4th, that's your 2nd team.
But every team's got injuries right now. Every team.
Yeah,
right?
that's part of the game.
And so that's like you guys seem more upset about this than I'm like Joe Burrow.
I'm not upset. No, I'm not upset.
If Joe Burrow doesn't play, Bengals season is over. I might as well not even.
I'm not upset. But the reality is, like, these are guys that were on the team already, that had chemistry with the players already, that already knew the system. Anytime anybody on any team get hurt, it impacts the team.
So, but if every team is being impacted, then it's not a big deal.
Well, here's the thing. We talking about specifically the Cleveland Browns.
Yeah.
And what do you do once you are impacted? So there's a plan. Right now in Cincinnati, they're probably talking about that. They're saying,
the plan's irrelevant, though, because if Burrow don't play, their season's over.
But you still have to talk about when he's coming back.
Right.
What's the plan? Does he play the first game? Yeah. It's nuanced. It's not like, oh, guys, he's injured. So for the Cleveland Browns right now, here's the problem you have. You got Myles Garrett, you got Zadarius Smith, you got Obo, right? That's 3 defensive ends. That's great. But if that is if the predication of your whole team is we are counting on our defensive linemen to be the best group on the field, and you lose 2 of your second team defensive ends, that's crazy. Because it's not like if it was linebacker, they've proven that they think the linebacker is not what's important in his scheme. But defensive line, they went out and drafted, and they've drafted a defensive lineman every single year. So now that is important. I need me another end today.
Let me ask you this question. On a scale of 1 to 10, with 10 being panic and 1 being no deal, what is this?
Go ahead.
I'm about a 4.
Oh, my God.
I'm gonna tell you why I'm about a 4. You can oh my God, but boy, here's the reality, right? Zadarius Smith, great pass rusher. But he dealt with a knee injury.
Yep.
And no matter, everybody talk about the 10, 11 sacks. Yeah. I think he had like 9 or 10 sacks in his first 8 games. Yep. Yeah. He tailored it off and finished with like 1 or 2 sacks over the rest of the course of the season. I'm not expecting Zadarius Smith to be in there on every single down.
Yeah.
Ogbo is still growing as a player. Raw talent, not that big of a dude. So depending on the matchup, you might not even see him in there. Anytime that you lose somebody that was supposed to be a rotational piece, like those things matter. We can talk about the big 3 all we want to, but at the end of the day, it's always those other guys and their contribution that gets you over the hump.
G, what's your grade? What's your grade?
I give it a 5. Because let me tell you, let me just show you the difference in levels to this, right?
Yeah.
Take a look at what the Eagles have done. They went out and they got Brandon Graham back. They signed Fletcher Cox back. Jalen Carter is a top 10 pick. One of the most. So he's.
Well, what does the Eagles have to do with anything?
Because I'm showing you. Watch this.
Show me.
Josh Sweat. They got him back in the mix. And that's just in their alignment. But they blitz and bring edge rushers. Hassan Reddick is their outside linebacker. Now look, that's 5 dudes right there that are monsters.
But the it's not like the Browns lost monsters though.
Hold on. We keep going.
They lost guys.
Nolan Smith is backing up Hassan Reddick, who run the listen. So and we can keep Jordan Davis. Jordan Davis is a guy
what this
here.
Has to do with the Browns though.
What it has to do with is you're counting the big 3.
Yeah.
I'm showing you contenders.
I'm not saying 4 and 5 are not important at all.
But what I'm saying,
but if they had good guys, these are just guys.
Hold on. But here's the thing: those guys are better than the guys they're bringing off. These guys are off the street. These guys ain't coming off the draft. These off the street.
The guys off the street, some veterans off the street, might be better than those 2 guys who you get.
No.
So is it for you? You don't think they're good? Is that why you see it as no big deal?
They're just guys until proven otherwise. They're just guys. That's a fact.
If you what I'm trying to prove to you is there are 9 different dudes on here for the Philadelphia Eagles who are a contending team, a top-notch defense. Yeah. And what I'm trying to show you is,
and how many do the Browns have?
3.
And with these 2 guys, they have more than 3.
At least with Alex Wright, you had 4.
No, you don't, because he's proven nothing.
But here, what I'm
nothing.
What I'm saying to you is,
G just said it 2 minutes ago. He's done nothing on the field.
What I'm saying to you is, if you draft a guy and he's a rookie, you're not gonna get a world beater rookie. Yeah. You're not gonna get guys that's gonna come get 13 sacks as a rookie. What I'm saying to you is, they are counting on these guys. If you listen to Schwartz, you listen to the team. Those guys are impact dude. Let me give you an example. I was playing for McKinley. We won the state championship. The guy that's in front of me, Kenny Peterson, played multiple years in the NFL, went to Ohio State. He was part of the team that beat Miami. He was a defensive player of the year 2 years in a row. I did not play till my junior year. Kenny Peterson left, and a lot of people was like, hey, they're going to be trash. They're not going to win another championship. That's a wrap.
Okay.
People would say, oh, no, they got G. Bush and this other defensive end over here. And they were like, well, we haven't seen him play.
Right.
But here's the thing. People that were in the program, people that was around it, knew. We came back that next year, and guess what? You got guys that are hungry. You got guys that want to prove themselves, and there's a lineage involved. Me and the other defensive end, both of us went D1. He went to Indiana, I went to OU. We won another state championship. What I'm saying to you is, great teams find guys, develop them, and build depth.
Agreed. And that's why great teams don't worry when they have injuries like this. And I think you guys have been so scarred by rooting for a shit team for your entire life, basically, that you think injuries like this matter. On good teams, injuries like this are irrelevant. If the Browns are a good team, if they truly are a good team and a good defense, then injuries, an injury to Myles Garrett, big deal. An injury to Denzel Ward, big deal. Guys that are the top players, big deal. But guys like this, who are 4th and 5th defensive linemen, you got to be. If you can't replace those guys, you're not good enough. That's just how I see it.
You got two guys getting injured at one time.
Right.
Back a couple years ago, the Ravens had both of their corners go down. The nickel
starters.
Corner and one of their starters go down.
Yeah.
Guess what? That's debilitating.
But that's starters, G. That's not the same as this. This is the 4th and 5th defensive linemen.
But
those are really good players you're talking about.
But that's where you win. You win in the margins. You don't. Everybody has top 5 players.
I agree. You win in the margins to some degree, but the good teams can replace those guys in the margins if they have good coaches and they have good scouting. And to your point, there's first of all, there's plenty of time to get. If you bring guys off the street now. The season don't start for a month. There's plenty of time to get them up to speed.
There's some interesting names still out there.
Point. Yeah. How do you replace these guys?
Well, G, I'm glad you said that. I scoured the internet for 4 names who I think are still out there who could be at least a camp body for the Browns. Steve, you want to take this graphic full? What about a potential reunion with Jadeveon Clowney? Or Melvin Ingram?
G. Bush.
How about G. Bush?
Before I put
How about G. Bush? That is how thin the veteran defensive end market is right now for guys who have at least proven something on the field. Let me just ask you this.
Yeah.
Is there any world, any scenario, any universe where you'd welcome Jadeveon Clowney back to the Browns?
No, I'd rather have G. Bush playing than Jadeveon Clowney.
I wouldn't. To me, how he handled the whole Myles Garrett situation, that just left a sour taste in my mouth. You can't bring him back. That's a toxic situation altogether. But a guy like Robert Quinn, who's out there, can be a nice camp body. But at the same time, man, Andrew Berry, man, there's more than one way to skin a cat, right? Andrew Berry can kind of get on the phone and make a couple moves via trade if he have to. But I don't know, boy. I think you underestimating maybe what the team think of a guy like Alex Wright.
Well, we don't know what the team really thinks of him.
Have you watched Alex Wright play? Have you listened to the things that they've talked about since he's been a member? I'm asking you a question. Yes or no?
It's irrelevant.
Yes or no? Yes or no?
Of course, I've watched him.
Yes or no? But have you listened to the things that Andrew Berry
it's irrelevant.
and Kevin? To you, it's irrelevant.
That's irrelevant.
But to you, it's irrelevant. Wait, boy. I'm just trying. No, boy. I gotta finish my point.
Go ahead.
All I'm telling you is I've heard Kevin Stefanski speak of this man. I've heard Andrew Berry speak of this man. I've heard the coaches speak of him.
And have they said anything bad about any players?
No, they haven't. But I'm telling you, this is a dude that was a 3rd-round pick that was a rookie last year, and when he got his opportunities towards the later part of the season, he played better. You're dismissing it like he's not going to make any type of impact.
He's minimal impact.
But he's a rotational guy.
I know
in a system that they're going to rotate 10 defensive linemen.
Good teams lose players.
I'm talking about the Browns. I'm talking about the Browns.
G keeps bringing up examples of other teams.
I'm talking about the Browns, man.
Okay.
I'm saying like Alex Wright. I think that's if he's gone for an extended period of time.
Yeah.
That can have an impact on the team.
How many games do you think the Browns are going to win this year?
Probably like 11.
Okay, 11.
About 11.
If Alex Wright doesn't play the whole season, how many games are they going to win?
Who knows?
Do you change your prediction?
No.
So then who cares? Then he doesn't matter. If you don't change your prediction, he doesn't matter.
Boy, it matters, man, because this could be like how you talked about it like with the playoffs. It doesn't matter. Yeah. This could be a downslide, right? You got 2 guys in your defensive end room that's hurt for an extended period of time.
You think Jim Schwartz cares that these guys are hurt?
Yes.
No chance.
Yeah. Yes.
He's like, just give me another guy.
No, absolutely not. It don't go that way.
With Jim Schwartz on this, and this is really interesting here. I just looked up last year, the Browns' 4th defensive end in terms of snap count was Isaiah Thomas. He played 162 snaps last year. To my surprise, Alex Wright played more snaps than Jadeveon Clowney. I did not realize that.
Facts.
So back to taking himself out of the game.
He played 542 snaps. That was 49.7% of the defensive snaps possible.
Okay, so he played 50% of the snaps and the defense sucked. He's not going to play 50% of the snaps this year. So how big a deal is he?
He's a big deal. Who's going to take them snaps?
Hey, we lost internet. We have no stream.